The rain had been falling for so long that night that I couldn't remember what silence sounded like anymore. Not the soft kind of rain either. This was heavy, relentless, the kind that pounds the roof like it's trying to wear the house down, board by board, thought by thought. The kind that turns the dark into something thicker, closer. I remember checking the time because I couldn't sleep. 2:17 a.m. That was the first time I noticed something was wrong, because the power was still on. The clock was glowing red. The refrigerator was humming, but the world outside my windows looked wrong. Normally, even on the darkest nights, there's something. A street light flickering through the trees, a neighbor's porch lamp, the faint glow of the highway miles away. That night there was nothing, just rain and black. I stood by the window longer than I should have, the glass cold under my fingertips, listening to the storm swallow everything. It felt like the rain wasn't just falling. It was pressing in, sealing the house off from the rest of the world. That's when I heard it. A knock, not loud, not urgent. 3 slow taps on the front door. I froze. No one knocks like that at 2 in the morning during a storm. Not unless something's wrong. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. I just listened. The rain filled the silence again, heavy and unbroken. I waited for a second knock. Came a full minute later. Same rhythm, same patience. Top, top, top. My heart was pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. I told myself it was probably a neighbor. Maybe someone's car broke down. Maybe someone needed help. That's what I told myself as I grabbed the flashlight from the kitchen drawer. The beam shook in my hand as I moved toward the door. With every step, the house felt quieter than it should have been. No cracks, no settling wood, just rain and my own breathing. I stopped inches from the door. "Hello," I called, my voice barely louder than a whisper. Nothing. I leaned closer, pressing my ear near the wood, and that's when I heard breathing. Slow. Bit. Right on the other side. Not labored, not panicked, just waiting. I stepped back so fast I nearly dropped the flashlight. "Who is it?" I asked, louder this time, my voice cracking. The breathing stopped. Then a voice came through the door. "I need to come in." It was calm, flat, almost rehearsed. "Why?" I asked. The pause that followed stretched too long. "The rain doesn't bother me," the voice said. "But the dark does." Something about that sentence felt wrong. Not the words themselves, but the way they were delivered. Like the person didn't understand why someone might be afraid. Like they were guessing. I told them I couldn't open the door, that they should go to the neighbors, that I was calling the police. Another pause. Then, "They can't hear me." My stomach twisted. "How do you know?" I asked. "I've already tried." That's when the flashlight flickered. Just once. Enough to make my pulse spike. I backed away from the door, every instinct screaming at me to run, to hide, to do anything except stand there talking to whatever was on my porch. "Please," the voice said again. "I've been outside for a long time." The rain suddenly seemed louder, closer. I could hear it dripping from the porch roof, splashing against the steps. "How long?" I asked, hating myself for asking. "Since before it got dark," the voice replied. I swallowed. "It's been dark all night," I said. Another pause. "Yes," the voice agreed. "It has." The clock in the kitchen clicked over to 2:31 a.m. 14 minutes had passed. Felt like hours. I didn't respond. I didn't move. That's when the knocking started again. This time it wasn't slow. It was firm, deliberate, like the person knew I was standing right there. "Open the door," the voice said, closer now. "You're making this harder." The flashlight flickered again, then went out completely. I stood there in total darkness, rain roaring outside, my heart beating so loud I was sure whoever stood on the other side could hear it. Then, a new sound, scratching, low, slow, Not at the door, at the window to my left. I turned my head just as lightning split the sky. For a fraction of a second, the yard was lit up bright as day, and I saw it. There was no person on my porch. The front steps were empty, but something was crouched beneath the living room window. It was tall, too tall to be squatting like that comfortably. Its limbs were bent at sharp, unnatural angles, pressed close to its body like it was trying to fold itself smaller. Its face was turned toward the glass, and it was smiling. The lightning vanished, plunging everything back into darkness. I staggered backward, my breath coming in short, panicked gasps. The scratching stopped. Silence. Then the voice came again. This time it wasn't at the door. It was right outside the window. "You saw me," it said softly. "That means I can come in now." I ran. I don't remember deciding to. My body just moved. I bolted down the hallway, locked myself in the bedroom, shoved the dresser against the door with shaking hands. The rain never let up. I sat on the floor with my back against the bed, staring at the door, listening. Minutes passed. Then, footsteps. Slow, careful. Inside the house. The floorboards creaked under weight that moved wrong. Too light, then suddenly too heavy. Like whatever it was didn't understand how walking worked yet. It stopped outside my door. I covered my mouth to keep from screaming. The handle didn't turn. Instead, something pressed against the door. Not hard, just enough to let me feel its presence. Then the voice whispered through the wood. "You shouldn't have looked." The pressure eased. The footsteps moved away, down the hall, into the living room, toward the front door. I waited for the sound of it leaving. The door never opened. The footsteps stopped. And then, the rain did too, all at once, like someone had turned